When England's ODI and T20 skipper Harry Brook put out a statement apologising for his behaviour when he was caught outside of a nightclub in Wellington and actually had an altercation with a bouncer, a drunken altercation at that, most people thought that that would be the end of the matter, because the ECB did confirm that he was given a rather hefty fine and that he was on his final warning and actually at one point was on the verge of losing his captaincy of the side. However, in a fresh twist that has now come about thanks to some reportage from the local British media, it turns out that one part of Brook's story was very untrue. He claimed that he was the only player outside of the nightclub, but now reportage has suggested that Jacob Bethell and Josh Tongue, two other members of the England team, were also with him at that point in time. And this news revelation has actually forced Harry Brook to come out and address this and admit that yes, at that point in time when he put out that statement, he was lying. Here's what he had to say and the key parts of his statement. He said that I accept responsibility for my actions in Wellington and acknowledge that others were present that evening. I regret my previous comments. Yikes. He's basically been caught lying due to some good reportage from a journalist, which of course then raises the next obvious question as to why it is he felt the need to actually tell this lie. Surely he could have just come out with the truth at that point in time and simply avoided all of this mess. Instead, he's basically put himself in a situation whereby some investigative journalism was done. They revealed that no, the current English skipper was actually not being truthful about this particular comment. And that actually led to him basically having to come out and alter that statement, wherein he's saying, no, I wasn't actually being very truthful with my words at that point in time. It's not a very good look, let's be frank. However, if you go by the reasoning as to why it is that he did actually end up making that lie, or why it is he was a little, let's say, liberal with the truth in this case, it does go on to make a little bit of sense, because he admits in a later comment, he says that my intention was to protect my teammates from being drawn into a situation that arose as a result of my own decision. So basically what he was saying was, look, I was trying to protect my teammates. I was not wanting either of them to be involved in a situation that, truth be told, had nothing to do with them. They just happened to be with me at that point in time. And if it was reported at that point in time that they were with me, they would have been guilty by association, even though they didn't do anything wrong. I was the only one who actually was in the wrong at that point in time. He said that, look, it was a situation that arose as a result of my decisions. Now, there's two ways of looking at it. On one hand, it isn't a good look that he was caught lying. On the other, it does at least show a little bit of leadership on his behalf, that he was perhaps trying to protect his teammates. However, overall, no one comes out of this situation looking very good, because not only did Brook lie, the English Cricket Board actually knew that he was lying, and the fact is, it just could have avoided all of this mess by being honest and saying, no, that others were there, but, well, they weren't really involved in anything. Brook was the only one who got in some trouble. That actually would have been the simpler situation. When you're caught up in such situations, the best thing to perhaps do is make a clean break of it and be honest with the public. Most people thought that Brook was being honest, but it turns out he was not. And that's not a very good look either which way. What are your thoughts on this entire incident? Let us know that in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, follow us also on social media. We're on Instagram, X and Facebook, and stay tuned for more such updates from the world of sport.